YouTube is Rico, man. I'm back with another video. Y'all see what we got going on. We got the real King Von documentary. But before we get started, man, I just want y'all to know I did skip a minute, only because, not even a minute, like 17 seconds, because the beginning of this video, it was playing one of his songs for a decent little amount of time, and I don't want YouTube to end up copyrighting my video for y'all and stuff like that, and then I get my video blocked on YouTube and can't nobody see the video anymore. So I went ahead, skipped 17 seconds, and found where the documentary or the part of the video, whatever you want to call it, actually starts. So that's where we're gonna start the video off at. But before we get into the video, if you're brand new to the channel or you've been watching videos on the channel but for some reason not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button if you're brand new and stuff. And like I said, if you've been watching videos, and don't forget to leave a like and comment on the video as well, because that will help this video get recommended to a bigger audience of people and hopefully bring in new supporters to the channel and subscribe and stuff like that, and help us get on the grind to the 5K, man. But other than that, y'all know what time it is, and I'm gonna start this screen record. That started, and starting the video now.
On November 6, 2020, Davon Bennett, better known as King Von, was pronounced dead from gunshot wounds. This is his story.
Picture a no man's land with broken windows, dark abandoned buildings, no law and order. There are carefully demarcated areas controlled by rival bands of armed militia fighting over the rubble. Nearly every night there's sniper fire. It sounds like Beirut, but in fact it's America, a creature of state, local, and federal government, a product of bad politics, failed policy, and official neglect.
And that's just facts, man. You go to the hoods out here in the U.S., and pretty much anywhere, and it's gonna look like these places being forgotten and stuff, and people are fighting over rubble and stuff like that. But even though they don't mean literally rubble and stuff, it's still the fact of how these neighborhoods look. You could tell by looking at this neighborhood. Say this the hood in my left hand, and this is a great neighborhood. Pretty much, if you got money, at the end of the day, your family dress good, eat good, and go all over the place, travel a lot, etc. And that's these neighborhoods that they stay in right here in my right hand. In the left hand, you could clearly look at it. You possibly gonna think twice before you ever say, I think I'm gonna move my family over there. But if you ain't got no money, you ain't got no choice but to live over here in these hoods in my left hand. But say you got money and stuff, and you got the options to choose where you want to live no matter what, then you gonna be over here in my right hand in the nice neighborhoods and stuff. So look over there, a lot of sadness, a lot of poverty, a lot of kids and people just running around literally with no type of great law and order, no great opportunities to benefit from, etc. So that's why you see a lot of kids literally go to the NFL, NBA, or any pro sport and say, yeah, I came from this neighborhood. And it's mostly the African Americans of society. It's like, even sometimes you can put Hispanics, whites, you can put anybody. I don't really care at the end of the day, because this is not a race thing, but I'm just going based off the facts. A lot of these neighborhoods are made up of African Americans. And if you want to, we can say Hispanics too, because Hispanics be in a lot of these hoods with us. So over here, most of them say, I grew up where we didn't have an opportunity to pick and choose when we just wanted to eat and stuff, and then still have food later on to eat for dinner and stuff like that. So a lot of them be playing sports growing up, playing these ways to get their family out of a situation a lot faster. Because if you go to another career path, it's gonna take years on top of years. Like, some people gotta stay more than 4+ years in the college just to get the degree they need for the career path they chosen and stuff like that. So it takes a lot of time before you really even start benefiting with money and stuff, and be able to take care of your family as if you were playing in the professional sports leagues of the US and stuff like that. But you got over here, booming economy, amazing jobs to choose from, family doing good as hell, and they able to put you in good schools and stuff. And some of these schools might actually happen what I forgot to say about the hood schools. Some of these schools got the perks of being scouted by scouts from colleges, scouts from professional sports leagues, all that good stuff. So over here you got to work a lot more harder just to get a scout from a college or even a professional sports league to come even look at people at your school, or just you in general, because whatever you doing obviously got caught their attention just by being in the hood school. Over here, either way, you gonna have scouts, because a lot of these scouts get the best talents from these areas, because their teams, the coaches or whatever, already know about these areas already and can vouch that, all right, yeah, we ain't even gotta worry about for sure having a person to specifically go look for it. Go to these schools, you gonna see a lot of people that we could potentially have come to our organization or whatever and play for us, et cetera, et cetera. But that's pretty much just to give y'all an insight on what he's saying, pretty much, man. Like, this stuff real deep, for real.
It exists, unseen except by those who live there, a stone's throw away from some of the most valuable real estate in our nation's third largest city.
Davon Bennett grew up in one of the roughest neighborhoods of Southside Chicago, Parkway Gardens, also known as O Block, off of 64th, not 63rd. In the Gardens, he was known as Grandson, referring to his relationship with his grandfather, David Barksdale, one of the founders of the Black Disciples.
I could have swore the way he said it was because of based off of him going to jail and stuff, and he was always helping out this old dude and stuff like that, so they gave him that nickname, Grandson. But like I said, y'all comment down below who is more factual. Like, I ain't saying this dude is discredited just because of that, but a lot of people got their different assumptions of why he got the nickname Grandson. But like I said, I remember him specifically saying he got the nickname mainly because he was in jail taking care of this old dude.
Larry Hoover. Larry Hoover was a House of Cream gangster. David Barksdale was a devil disciple.
Growing up, his life wasn't bad for what it was. Although he didn't meet his father until 8 years old, due to him being locked up on and off all through his early childhood, his mother and stepdad did their best to make sure he had what he needed. Davon was an A and B student and even enjoyed playing baseball up until around high school. Growing up around poverty and violence in Southside Chicago, it's almost always inevitable to get involved in trouble.
It's easier to go on the block than it is to go to school.
Although he denies ever being part of a gang in his younger years, he admits to taking an interest in the street life. Davon's father would pass away and his grades would start to slip. He soon turned to crime himself, starting out just stealing bikes and other small things. But at the age of 15, he would catch his first case, unlawful carry of a firearm. Unfortunately, it didn't stop there. He would spend time in juvenile detention twice before the age of 18. Missing out on most of his teenage years, he wouldn't go more than 6 months without finding trouble with the law.
And at the end of the day, I want y'all to realize I don't condone mugs just literally hopping in the streets and stuff. Like, some of y'all do got choices, even though y'all family might not be in the same position. Still, like I said, this all goes back to what I was saying about a lot of the African Americans that go to play professional sports, and they tell y'all their background story of what hoods they came from and stuff, but they didn't choose the streets. A lot of them just say, you know what, I'm gonna find another way for my family to make it the right way. I'm gonna find a way for them to get on without me having to put my life in jail or potentially lost in the streets, etc., etc. They just say, I'm gonna go to a school, do what I gotta do in the sport I choose to want to play professionally, and grind and work my butt off, so that way by the time I get into high school, mostly around, some people get they hype around freshman year if they that good, but some of them don't get that hype until they junior, sophomore, or junior, senior year. So some of them, etc., etc., grind, do what they gotta do to catch the eyes of the the scouts from the professional sports leagues / colleges and stuff like that. And then after they get on, y'all see what they do with their families and stuff. A lot of them be bringing a lot of their family from these hoods that they grew up from. Some of them, they, depending on their relationship, might just be making their life better, because sometimes at the end of the day, not a lot of them from the hood get to say, my family's still around, or I'm still good with my family, etc., etc. So it is what it is. But like I said, if you can, try to come out the hoods the legal way. Try not to go to the streets, etc.
Law. At this time, he didn't know these run-ins with the law would be small problems compared to what was coming. On May 29, 2014, a man by the name of Malcolm Stuckey was sitting on his porch with two others during a birthday party. Two men would approach him with loaded guns and open fire. Although they tried to flee down the street, Malcolm was shot in the head and died on the scene, whereas the two others involved were wounded but later survived. Initially, only one person was arrested for the crime, Michael Wade. But after more evidence rose, Davon would find himself potentially facing 100 years in prison for murder and 2 attempted murder charges. He would spend the next 3.5 years in jail. He would have time to reflect on a lot of things. Meanwhile, he's locked up. People he's known since a kid would start to blow up off rapping. Lil Durk and G Herbo's careers were on the rise. Although he didn't know whether he'd ever be free again, he did take inspiration from what they were doing on the outside. He began freestyling and beatboxing in jail to pass time because there was nothing else to do. Taking after his grandfather's nickname, King David, he would get the nickname King Von from his cellmates who knew David, and they said the way he handled himself in the street reminded them of him. In 2017, after spending 3.5 long years in jail, his trial would only last 5 days. Michael Wade, who worked with the police trying to reduce his sentence, was given 20 years, while Davon, who didn't cooperate, would be acquitted of all charges, and 4 hours later, released back into civilian life. Wasting no time after being released, he began writing his first raps.
And it's crazy, the dude that tried to snitch pretty much, he still ended up staying locked up. King Von ain't said nothing, and they literally let him out a lot sooner than dude. So that just goes to show you, man, sometimes you do gotta remain loyal, because the dude that snitched possibly could have been out around the same time as King Von. It's just he happened to crack. So it is what it is. And I'm pretty sure Von definitely had a song about this, it. Cause it was one of these songs, I think literally right off of his last album, Walking the Old Block, I think he was literally rapping about that whole situation. So it is what it is though now, man. But yeah, man, dude ain't never said nothing. Him and King Von both could have been out around the same time. That's how I look at it.
He drew inspiration from urban novels as well as his own past experiences to write his first songs. Although spending so much time in and out of jail was something he never wanted to experience again, he admits it helped shape the person he was and made rapping about it easier.
And that's another thing too. Sometimes some people gotta bump their head and possibly go to jail for them to finally figure out what it is they need to do to get their life back on track and start doing the stuff the right way and stuff like that. So his was one of those cases pretty much where he seen how it was being in jail and literally gotta live by the law and rules of others and not his own rules and stuff like that. But yeah, man, he pretty much seen how it was up in there, and the food and stuff they had to eat and stuff, and not the best of the best at all, not even close. So he said, you know what, go ahead, do this music shit, because I see my friends making it. Now I need to try to do the same thing. So that's what he did. So I'm definitely glad he was able to get his life back on track somewhat, to at least provide for himself and his family and friends.
In late 2018, he began releasing music after linking back up with the now superstar Lil Durk. Lil Durk would co-sign his music from the beginning, where he even uploaded his earliest songs on his own YouTube channel to help bring attention to Von's music. After the release of a few songs, he had already begun to build a fan base. Drill music peaked between 2010 and 2015 or so, and with the popularity of it decreasing over recent years, King Von's captivating way of telling just about any story over a drill beat with what looked like no effort at all would bring a refreshing and much needed new style to the drill scene. His early single Problems had brought him some traction, but just a few months later, on the last day of 2018, he would drop his single Crazy Story, which told the story of a robbery turned shootout, and his life would change forever. This song would blow up almost instantaneously. Childhood friend and co-signer Lil Durk wasted no time hopping on the part 2 of the song after signing him to his Only the Family label. To further his career and by personal choice, he would move out of Chicago and relocate to Atlanta. In 2018, he dropped his first official mixtape titled Grandson, which featured more collabs with Lil Durk and Booka 600. But with fame and fortune almost always comes beef. It seems trouble was something that always found its way back into Von's life, in one form or another.
Hey, gang. Yeah. I'll stop playing out though, bro, for real. You know that shit be hurting for real. Fuck no.
It seemed like every few months or so, Von found himself in a debacle online with another rapper. I mean, how many times a week do we see a rapper dissing another rapper? In today's world, we see this shit all the time, especially online. And in most cases, nothing ever happens. In 2020, Von would release 2 more projects, LeVon James, and later Welcome to O Block. The tape would peak at number 63 on the Hot 100, which is in fact very ironic. By then, he had gained so much popularity, his tape...
And the crazy thing about it, man, Von ain't even get to see LeBron actually mess with his music. Because LeVon James, y'all already know why he named it that and stuff. And basically how it was kind of inspired by LeBron name and stuff like that. So LeBron definitely rocked with his music and stuff. And I just wish he low-key got to see that happen. Like, that definitely would have... probably inspire him a lot more to keep dropping bangers on top of bangers and stuff. Even though we know he was gonna do it, but I'm saying this probably would have took it to a whole nother level. Like, come on now. Like, the album itself was basically playing off LeBron name and stuff, and he knew what he was doing when he titled it that and stuff. So LeBron rocked with it. Like I said, that definitely could have inspired him to do it even more with the music, go crazy.
Tapes would feature big artists from all over. He was just beginning to be solidified in the rap game. And then...
GBI investigators still here on scene. This shooting made national headlines as officials confirmed one of the 3 people shot and killed was rapper King Von from Chicago, who was here last night with friends.
What started as a fight outside of an Atlanta hookah lounge would turn into King Von's fatal last moments. It has since surfaced that the entourage of people behind the shooting of Von are associated with the rapper Quando Rondo. While it's nearly impossible to figure out if King Von and Quando Rondo had beef of their own, they clearly ran with 2 different circles. Von was signed to Durk, and Quando was signed to NBA Youngboy. Because they were so close to these more experienced rappers, it's possible that the beef between Von and Rondo was actually tied to the relationships with Lil Durk and Youngboy.
And I did see this video pretty much came out around the same time King Von lost his life. So pretty much we already found out that it was some actual beef between King Von and Quando Rondo. Cause they were saying Quando Rondo was basically talking shit behind the scenes and stuff that everybody else wasn't really knowing about unless you were tied in with those people directly in that situation. So they definitely had beef and stuff. But it still also goes down to the NBA Youngboy and Lil Durk and all them beefing as well. So all of this stuff was just added beef pretty much at the end of the day.
Although it was never really confirmed, people did believe that Von and NBA Youngboy had some type of issue with each other after Von posted a picture of Youngboy's ex-girlfriend. Regardless of the reason why this all started, the truth is nobody deserves to die at such a young age. Von was just getting started. It's actually crazy to think about the fact that we won't be able to see what his full potential was. But one thing is for sure, music doesn't die, and his footprint will remain.
Big facts, man. But the same thing, like I said, man, it's just sad how a lot of these artists lose their life so young and at an early age. And some of them, majority of the time, it happens to be artists that literally just stepped foot in the game, pretty much just literally made a bigger name for themselves by going like industry down there. So once you get to the industry, shoot, you really supposed to just be skyrocketing from there if your music is really that good and stuff, and the label is really rocking with your music and stuff. So we already know Von wasn't in no situation where he one of those artists that gets signed and get shelved and stuff and be stuck in the whole contract. Like, no, he was actually putting out shit that was selling and was going to definitely make his contract good and fulfillable and stuff. So his label wasn't going to shelve him, none of that. So we already know the potential he had and stuff. And like I said, all these other artists that continue to die before they even really get on is just crazy, because some of these people got a whole lot of talent and potential to go farther and stuff. So we'll never know, man. But that's pretty much the end of this video though, man, because I got a lot of stuff I can keep talking about in this situation, but this video is strictly about King Von and stuff like that, so we're gonna leave it at that. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're brand new, or if you've been watching videos but for some reason not subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now and help us get on that grind to 5K. And don't forget to tell your family and friends about our channel, because they might also become supporters of the channel, hopefully. So y'all definitely go tell y'all family and friends. But other than that, I'm going to see y'all later on with more videos. Peace.